And how do I get rid of that? Hi. Hello, everybody. We are live. And this we are back. We took a little break for a little bit, and now we are back. This is Yvonne and Loubna on your live weekly show where we come in and give you some tips. And today we're going to talk about how to tell if your boss is toxic. And we are just going to go right into it because this is a very important topic. Friends, this is very important. So I'm just going to make sure I see what's going on here. If you are coming in live, if you're coming in live from LinkedIn or YouTube, or just let us know where you are tuning in from, and I'm going to turn the comments on so that you can comment. But if you're tuning in, let us know. I'm just doing some little housekeeping here. Let me make sure that I have Dr. Loubna's thing showing up here. All right, let me make sure I have her stuff showing up. Okay, so that's Dr. Luna's website. And okay, so let us know where you're tuning in from, and we're going to get into it right away. So, how are you, Dr. Loubna? I know that this is summer and you must be very busy.
It's it's fun. I'm great. I'm doing amazing. Thank you, Yvonne. And it's great to see you again and get back to this. I love doing this show of ours. I really like it.
Okay, so what are we going to about today? What are we talking about today?
Ooh, we're talking about a very interesting topic, how to spot a toxic boss and what to do about it.
All right. Have you ever had a toxic boss? Have you ever had a toxic?
Uh, I've had toxic bosses. Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right, this is going to be very great. We have a listener from LinkedIn user. Sometimes we don't get to see who the person is until the show is over. Then we see name, but I'm not able to see that name right now. And I know I can see where persons are tuning in from YouTube because I see it in the numbers at the top there. So we're going to go into it. And so I have had situations in the past where I have had toxic boss, right? It's not an easy thing to deal with, not an easy thing to navigate, because when your boss is toxic, it makes your environment toxic, and it makes it very difficult for you. So we're going to talk about this. Darlene is listening from Benin. I can't even pronounce that word.
Ooh,
So we have Darlene. I'm going to show Darlene here. Um,
Benin.
Thanks,
Okay.
Darlene, for chiming in. And so we're going to talk about toxic boss. I know that this is very, very, very big topic. So what are some of the things that you would say about, having a really terrible work environment? Because I have been in that situation before, doctor.
Yes, so there are different symptoms we're going to go through, but I would say the main thing, Yvonne, is uh, like you recognize that you're in a toxic environment or working with a toxic boss when your energy is drained, when you hate coming to work, when everything is not working out for you, right? You go to work and you're dreading going to work every day,
All
right? So
right. I
yes.
like when you say that because I had a situation, and I might share a little bit of it. This is a very vulnerable time for me because I'm on LinkedIn, and all the people I worked with in the past are on LinkedIn. But I had a boss, right, Darlene? Yeah, okay, so Darlene said there was a typo. I had a boss, and I must tell you, friends, I must tell you that every morning for and I don't want to feel bad about this because you might say, why didn't you quit for about 4 years? I cried every day in my car before I go into my office. So it was a very, very, very difficult situation for me. I love my job. I love what I was doing. I was helping. I was a senior recruiter at the company. But it was just one person. And I kept holding on because I'm saying, God, maybe one day this person will not be there anymore. Because sometimes the person gets removed from your environment too, right? So I didn't want to
Yeah.
get job. I didn't want to leave the environment. And I really had a very hard time. And sometimes when you have a toxic boss, you are the only one in the company talking about it because everybody else is keeping quiet because they're afraid of losing their jobs. So for me, in my
Yes.
situation, it was a very difficult time for me. And that is why today we want to talk about how to spot them and some of the strategies that we can use to help our community and have a better work experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how to spot them? So I would say the first thing would be, how does this person make you feel? Because some people, they really hide their game, right? At the beginning they're there, they're listening to you, they're they're showing you that they can be supportive, and then all of a sudden when you start asking for things, when you start showing your skills and being and feeling good in the environment and doing so many things, they feel threatened. You can sense that they don't have a lot of confidence, and they start micromanaging you, they start criticizing everything you do. So these are some of the main things, I would say, right? And we
Yes.
can, yeah.
Yes, so you're saying that they are really good at hiding it too. And
At
that
the
is very
beginning,
important
yes.
to know at the beginning because and the micromanagement. And I had that situation before with the same person I'm talking about because one of the things that sometimes that they do which they don't bosses do which they don't know is harmful to you. For example, my work used to start at 8:30, but I used to be there at 7:30, and I used to and you could leave at 4:30, but I was there very late. I see my friend there showing support for me there on LinkedIn. Oh, Weedman is his surname, and that's his real surname, right? Mr. J Weedman. Yeah, he has a base. Yeah, that's awesome. So the thing with my boss at the time was that he would send out emails to the staff. So if there's a staff who's not coming to work early or leaving too early, right? You know those people who are clock watchers? What he would do is send a blanket email out to everybody, chiding them about their work habits. And because of the type of person I am, and you can see why we couldn't get on, right? We were like oil and water. I would go into his office and tell him, no, don't send me those emails. If you have a problem with a particular employee, talk to them. But don't, when I get into my inbox in the morning, I'm there at 7:30 in the morning and I'm supposed to be there at 8:30, and I'm seeing an email pop up in my box about people's work habits and how you're to be at work early and all that. I couldn't make that one pass. So that is some of the things that they do. They do not know how to
Yes.
manage, they do not know how to lead. And especially if
Yeah.
there's something against you, they would send that email, which is not for you, to you also to tick you off.
Yvonne, you just brought up two important topics, okay? The fact that they hide behind the email, okay? The communication skills are poor. You have something to tell me, come tell me. Let's have an open discussion, open communication. And the second thing is that you would go the extra mile, you go early, you leave late because you want to show that you're a great employee and you feel that you have to work extra hours, right? And even if you do that, and even when you do that, it's not enough because these people, they will keep asking more and more and more of you.
Honestly, I felt that I was not enough. I felt that I could not do anything. Feel I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything. And
Yes,
and you know what? Because at work, because they have the upper hand, your confidence gets shot. Right. So when we're
yes,
having this conversation, we would like managers and we want to put it top of mind because I have on LinkedIn, I will put it there so that they can come and watch too. I will have it top of mind. So if you are a bad manager right now and you're watching this, or if you're an employee suffering, that everybody knows that this thing is going on and it has been going on for years.
yes.
But some people are just afraid of talking about it. Anything else there?
Exactly. And we all experienced that, right? We were in those situations and then you're like, oh my God, what do I do? I love my job. I want to keep my job. I want to keep my income. And at the same time, I'm miserable. And you just said it. When you start feeling that you're losing confidence, when you start feeling that you're not worthy, these are the big red flags. Okay, a good leader, a good boss would be there to support you and walk with you the way to getting the best performance review, to getting promoted, to getting all the things that you need to grow. But someone who makes you feel like crap is a toxic boss. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And another thing too, as you say, your manager is here, and I'm like, Weedman is on here, and he's a business person. He runs a lot of businesses, right?
Mm,
Yeah. So a lot of things. Um, I like when you say that, because when you lack your confidence, you cannot work. You cannot put out your best. You cannot put your best. I'm going to, Darlene is here, and she says, toxic environment bring down your
yeah.
confidence. And another user said, I had a boss who monitored my calendar every day and
Oh,
wanted to know what I was doing every moment of the day.
oh my God.
So
Yeah.
these behaviors are not uplifting. They shoot your confidence down.
Yeah.
And trust me, you can't work. You cannot work in an environment if you're going through all this stuff. That doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And then you're not feeling like a team player, and you're not a team member. You're an employee, you're a slave, you're someone who's there to work. I mean, I'm sorry for saying that, but that's how it feels, right? There's no collaboration, there's no cooperation. And unfortunately, there are a lot of corporations who have those work environments. And yeah, and the productivity is gonna go down, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so is there anything else that we need to talk about? Like the micromanagement
Mhm.
is huge. So if you're on this on show right now, or if you're watching on the replay, remember one of the first things that you're gonna be looking out for is how they micromanage you. But Dr. Loubna, is there anything else that we want to talk about? Any other
Sure.
toxic behavior?
Yes, so we talked about micromanagement. We talked about a toxic boss who would create obstacles for your career advancement. Okay, uh, there's also the lack of acknowledgement of your accomplishments, and I've heard this many times from some of the people I work with. They would come up with ideas, they would present them to their boss, and then the boss would take credit for that.
Wow, that is huge. And I have heard people complain about that too. They work and they have ideas. And remember, your boss is supposed to help to mentor you and to help to grow you so you can get the promotion, so you can get the project, so you can get your money, right? Because we don't go to work for free, right? And
Mhm.
one of the thing is the fact that they don't acknowledge you, and they will steal your ideas and present it as their own and don't give you any acknowledgement for it. So that's another thing that you have to watch out for.
Yeah.
Because if the boss or somebody else is stealing your ideas, you are not going to get your promotion and you are not going to get your money, because you are not going to get the higher salary, because it is going to be like it is somebody else's idea. And if you can come up with ideas and creative, you're not going to get plum projects to work on, so that you can be recognized and your accomplishments can be noted. So that is very, very important, doctor. Any more
Mhm.
things going on there that we need to?
Yes, yes, yes. I've been in situations where my boss would talk very poorly about other people. Then I knew that he would do the same with me, right? If somebody is not talking professionally about other people, then you can be assured that he will do the same and with you. Okay, and when you're in a professional environment, you don't want to gossip, you don't want to talk trash about people, you don't want to do that. It's really unprofessional. As soon as somebody does that, Oh my God, that's a red flag.
All right, that's awesome, because a lot of people think that they can be at work and then you go and talk with your friends and you talk about other people, or an environment. When you try to cultivate an environment like that where people talk about people, you don't know when they're going to start talking about you. It is very important, even if it is not, let us go to the boss, but even if it's not about your boss, try when you are at work to be as professional as you can, so that you are not talking about people, but you're talking about the work. You need to be talking about the job and the work that you're there to do, right?
Yes.
Many bosses, one of my Facebook users say it really boils down to maturity or the lack.
Yes.
They have no
Yes.
self-management skills themselves, because sometimes people
Yes.
are promoted on
Yes.
in jobs and do not have the self-management skills. And once you start creating a culture where people start talking about people, if you're in a job right now and you find people are always talking about somebody else or chitter-chattering about other people, walk away, because it could be you. And when your boss does it, trust me, that's a
Yeah.
huge red flag.
Yes. I used to have a boss who used to, instigate problems between me and my direct reports. And he would tell me, "Oh, Loubna, you need to fire this person." And I'm like, "No, we need to give her a chance. Like, you need to fire her." And then he would go to the person. He was like, "Oh, how's Loubna treating you?" And I'm like, "What's going on here? Are we a team, or are we trying to create problems?" And then I knew that, oh my God, that was the worst environment to be in, right? And and when you see, again, when you see those people behaving this way, I mean, you will know that they lack confidence. I see that those people, they usually lack confidence, and they also have a huge ego. These are the two characteristics that I personally noticed.
I since I got older, should I say that? I've come to realize that a lot of people should not be managers. A lot of people should not be leaders unless they can deal with, I say, those self-management skills, or deal with stuff in their past that help to trigger this kind of behavior. Because a lot of times when managers are promoted and the company don't understand the managers well, they are going to behave according to how things happened in their past, or
Yes.
about the whole mindset stuff. And you can
Yes.
probably speak to that, because they have these learned behaviors that they either picked up on a job before where they had a bad boss and or something like that, or they had a bad family member or parent or something that triggers them,
Yes.
and they
Yeah.
take the same kind of behavior into the workplace, and that
Yes.
is so poor. And it is not good, because the job, you go there to do a job, and if you're a manager, and I tell my somebody I was talking to the other day, you cannot want to be a manager if your main goal is not to go in and develop people. And I
I love
think,
that.
yes,
I
and I
love it.
think one of the problems with management is that the people who get those jobs, as you say, get them because, and they want it because of the ego to say, I am the director, or I am the VP, or I'm the CEO, but they do not think that the reason why you have this job, what is your why? Why do they have this job? Their job is supposed to be helping to develop people.
Yes, Yvonne, that's exactly the mindset that a good boss and a good leader needs to have. Because at the end of the day, when you're working for a company, I mean, there are some quotes that show that say that, okay, if you go alone, you can go fast, but if you go together, you can go far, right? And bosses who don't have that mindset, I mean, they go a certain way, but then people start realizing who they are really. So yeah, there's no.
User said this. Look at the screen. Unfortunately, sometimes they promote an individual to get rid of them in their sector. And it's true.
Mhm, mhm.
Sometimes they promote people just to get rid of them.
Yes.
because they don't want them in their division, they don't want them in their team, and
Yes.
they can't let them go. So they promote them, put them into another team. They couldn't put them in as an ordinary employee. They had to promote them as a leader, and then these people just mess things up, right? So it comes back down to goals, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Organization goals. And it also comes down to, I see Darlene has something to say. It comes down to goals of the organization. I don't think many organizations understand what their goals are. And it also comes down to the goals of the people who are being promoted and have these positions, and the why.
Mm-hmm.
And for everybody who hires somebody to be a leader, they should interview them, train them, whatever, make sure that they know that the reason why they are is to promote, is to help people, to duplicate people, so that if you
Yes.
have one staff member who is good at something, the leader can go and mentor them to be as good as they are, and mentor many to be as good as they are, and you create better employees, better, happier employees, more productive employees, and
Yes.
more bottom line for the company. But they're not
Yeah.
doing
Exactly. And then you mentioned something, Yvonne, about having a mission and a purpose, right? We talked about those things many times in previous lives we did. People who have a sense of purpose, people who want to make an impact within their organization, people who want to see people grow and feel great when they're making an impact, they won't be toxic. They will never be toxic. And and the other ones, I mean, these are the ones who have usually not a clear sense of purpose, and are not concerned about making an impact, but it's only about them, how they are growing, how people are seeing them. It's not about the collective. So that's a great distinction.
All right.
Okay,
So
awesome.
what I'm going to do, Dr. Loubna, I'm going to read off, say like the seven things, and I think what happens that we talk about them and they roll into each other, right? So one
Mm-hmm.
of the seven things is a micromanagement. The next one is that they are overly critical of you, and most of their feedback is critical, and there is no acknowledgement for good work that which leads to lack of your confidence. The
Yes.
next one, inability to acknowledge your accomplishments, which you dealt with so nicely. They take credit for your ideas and your work and undermine you. They create obstacles for your career advancement. As you can see, all of these roll into each other, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they speak poorly about other people. We talked about that. And I think there is one that we actually didn't talk about within the seven signs of the toxic. And number seven would be lack
Mm.
of accountability for anything that they do wrong. This one is huge. This one
Yes.
is huge. Lack of accountability for anything that they do wrong. A lot of people don't want to take accountability for what they do wrong. They don't care, right?
Yes, yes,
Right.
Yvonne. And these are some of the discussions we have with our clients, right? When we talk about someone who's being responsible versus somebody who's playing the victim, right? If you're in the victim mode, you will put the responsibility on everybody else, and you don't hold yourself accountable for your mistakes. But a good leader, someone who's not toxic, okay, we all make mistakes, we can all fail, and then we're going to learn from those mistakes and failures, right? So yeah.
A Facebook
Okay.
user has a nice thing to say. I love what's going on Facebook today. It's a good thing. They're all over the place. There's a fine line between strategy and manipulation. And that is like when people use the Bible
Yes.
to manipulate
Yes.
you, right? Some of the toxicity, some of the toxicity is pure
Yeah.
manipulation, and they call it strategy. Honestly,
I love it. I
I
love that. Yes.
gonna go on Facebook afterwards because I have to see. I don't think you can see the name, but I'm gonna have to kiss this person pretty. Honestly,
Yes.
because some of the
Yeah.
toxicity is pure manipulation, but they call it strategy. It's true,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Labeling things
Right.
under different names, making people feel bad, making people feel little and small and not motivated and drained, right?
Oh my
So,
goodness. When they want to get rid of you, I'm telling you, especially, and I'm not beating up on managers because I was one and you were one, right? But we do know that
No,
bad
that's
people
not the point.
exist.
That's not what we're doing. And this is not just in the workplace. I mean,
Yeah,
we can look around us in, you know, in the personal setting, in social settings. We can
yeah,
spot these people, right?
bad
So the
people exist.
strategy and manipulation, I like that.
Oh
This is
wow,
a
I
key
gotta write
word.
that one down.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
fine
the
line
key
between
word.
strategy and manipulation, and I wanted I made sure I add it's almost like the gospel and manipulation. A lot of
Yes.
people manipulate the Bible. It's happening for you hundreds of years. You know, like like when people came to say the Caribbean to colonize you, they would use the Bible. Same thing in the workplace. So
Yeah.
there's a line between, and people tend to use it and say, "Oh, company policy," and a lot of
Yes.
times they're not flexible, and they will say company policy just because they want to get their way and manipulate you.
Yes. So which brings us to discussing the tactics, some of the effective tactics
Ah,
for handling toxic people.
all right.
Yvonne, let me just
We have something great here for you guys because we're going to talk about the effective tactics that you can use to handle the toxic bosses. Okay? Because listen, remember we started out by saying that these bosses have the handle. We used to say in Jamaica, they have the handle and we hold the blade. As they pull, it cuts us, right? Because it is their environment, and sometimes we get very nervous. So, Loubna, can you start and give us some strategies here how to deal with this thing? Because
strategy, not manipulation. Okay.
manipulation. Can you give us some strategy
Strategy.
here?
So the main thing, okay, like if we're looking at the Pareto rule, 80-20, oh my God, you will be successful, if, like you will be 80% successful if you become aware of what's going on. You're going to win the battle at 80% because a lot of people are not even aware of what's going on, and they keep going in circles and feeling bad, you know, all of the things we described before, not being motivated and feeling drained and feeling a lack of confidence and feeling unworthy. So the first thing is to spot the situation and understand who's bullying you, because
It's
that's a
bullying.
way of, this
Bullying.
is bullying, you know, bullying, or maybe we can say manipulation. It's
Yeah.
manipulation, right?
Yeah.
So
But if
awareness.
you want to really give it a dig, call it bully. Because when people started talking about mind, like mental health, honestly, I'm
Yes.
so happy that we're talking. Last month was mental health awareness.
Mm,
And I'm so happy that we're having this conversation because a lot of companies who are
mm-hmm.
talking about mental health awareness sit down there, and within their own company, they have leaders who are manipulating their employees. So, as you say, the first thing that we should do is to ensure that we recognize it. And those
Yes.
7 tips that we gave are 7 tips in order to 7 tips to use to recognize that you have a toxic boss. So you just gave us
Yes.
what the strategy is to recognize it, and anything else there that
Yeah.
we have 7 of them, right?
And in what you said, Yvonne, taking care of your mental and physical well-being. Because at the end of the day, why are we working? Are we working to get nuts? Are we working to to contribute, or are we working to be bullied by people? You know? Because
Yeah,
at the end of the day, when you're not happy at work, it's gonna trickle down and impact different areas of your life,
yeah,
your health and wellness, your social relationships. You're going to be going home and complaining about your boss and your work night and day to your partner. It's going to affect your kids if you have kids. So, yeah, you take care of your mental health and physical health. That's the most important. Okay, a job is a job. It's a job. So
yeah.
you need to look at the big picture.
Right. And as we say on this program, sometimes we say a job is a stepping stone to your career. And we're going to
Yes.
talk about, but as we go on and talk about the 7 ways of dealing with this, you said the first one was to recognize it and recognizing with those 7 tips that we gave at the beginning. And the
Yes.
second thing is to take care of yourself because your
Yes.
mental health is important. And some of the things that we can do even on your own. I know it is stressful, friends. I know it is stressful, career professionals. But remember, you have to keep your eye on the prize, which is you. Right? So make sure you do your exercise. Make sure you eat well, right? Even though this stuff is happening, because listen, it's just a job, and what you learn on this job is going to take you to another job. Every job is a step to another, to your whole career. So while you're in this job, learn as much as you can, right? But you're going to be learning stuff, right?
Yes, exactly, Yvonne. Exactly what you said. Yes, even if you hate it,
you are learning transferable skills to go on, to move on.
Exactly. And if it's the case, start looking. Okay, you stay there and you start looking. Because, oh my God, like I talk to so many people and they're like drained by their jobs. But sometimes, like the fear of not knowing what's possible for them stops them from making decisions to change things around, right? And like you said, it's about shifting the focus. You're going to focus on your life. You're going to focus on your career. You're not going to stay focused on this person who's not serving you. This person is not supporting you. This person is not helping you grow. So when you find yourself in those situations, actually, whether it's personal or professional, you need to take yourself out a little bit and look at the big picture and ask the right questions. What's going on here?
Awesome. Yeah. Obviously, and as we said, we are going to take care of our mental and physical well-being. We are going to focus on what we can control, and you can control these people, right?
Yes.
And there are other leaders that will support you and you can trust. One of the things, while you're taking care of yourself, you can seek advice and support, right? If you do not have a relationship with anyone in the organization, because trust me, sometimes when this stuff happens, you're alone, I'm telling you, right?
Yes.
Also seek out organizations that will provide help, because sometimes just going and speaking with somebody can help you get through this difficult period. So first of all, understand the bully, right? Keep a log and help you create evidence. So you understand the bully, keep a log, then you take care of yourself, right? And the third thing I will get on, and you can deal with the fourth. Imagine your ideal manager-employee relationship. During this time, start thinking about what your ideal manager would be, because as Dr. Loubna said, you are going to start looking for a job. You don't want to jump out of the frying pan and jump into the fire. You don't want to get in the same situation. So in this period of time, you're going to start thinking about what your ideal manager-employee relationship will be. And because you can't change these people, start showing up that way that you would like to be treated, right?
Yes, and Yvonne.
That's number 3, and we're going to talk about number 4. Build a support team. Can you help?
People can start looking around. So just to stay on number 3, even looking around within the company, look at that amazing relationship between another employee and their boss and imagine yourself there, right? So you can look around. Yeah. Okay. So
remember to, okay. So you talk about look around in the company and look outside of the company if you can't get the support. Because a lot of
because sometimes like you don't need to change companies. You stay in the same organization and you try to switch. It can be a lateral move, as long as you take yourself out of the situation, you take a breath, you take a breath and then you set your mind to feeling better and then looking for a job.
I'm going to tell you in the end what happened to me, right? Because I might talk about it on the show, but at the end I'll tell you what happened to my situation. My manager who stayed there 6 years and harassed me for life. Oh my God, I was saying, you're not supposed to hate anybody.
Yvonne, we can write a book. We can write a book about that.
I
I'm
think I
sure.
should be writing a book about my toxic boss, right? And the reason why I'm doing this today is not because I
Mhm.
wanted to write a book after years. See, I haven't seen that
Yeah,
person for about 10 years, but listen to me. I hear a
yeah,
lot of people on LinkedIn talking about mental health, right? Right?
yes,
Okay, so you're going to build a support team, and you just talked about that, right? How you're going to build a
yes.
support team. And you talked also about Dr. Loubna about shifting focus, and which is number five. You
Yes.
shift focus on your
Can I
career instead of your boss.
can I say something about the support team? So when we say build a support team, it doesn't mean go around and complain. Okay? Don't go around and be the victim and talk to people so they feel sorry for you. That's not the point. What's important is, to know what you want, to know what your rights are, and to look around and look for support, see which people will really be supportive, because sometimes, like you said, Yvonne, like in the beginning, people can fake those things. Okay, so you need to make sure who you're talking to. You really need to be careful. And at the end of the day, you will be the one who's making a decision whether to stay or move on, and whether you can tolerate all of that or not, whether you want to keep learning, even if you're in a situation that's horrible. So that's why we talked about focusing on the career. How is this situation going to help you grow and help you learn and help you move on? So that's why take yourself out of the situation and think about the pros and cons of being there, and whether you want to move or you want to stay there.
Before I
Okay,
say what Nalini is your nice name, say,
Nalini.
yeah. So when you said, yeah, because if you take yourself out of the situation, you want to think about, why am I here? Why am I
Mm-hmm.
here? Why am I in this job? And remember, I quote Grant Cardone every time. I don't know. I saw this. I got it at 10x newsletter, and he said, "The job you hate will make you rich." And
Uh-huh.
that job you hate, and you know why he said that? Because he said he hated sales, and
Mm,
he stayed at that job and honed his sales skills. And if anybody knows him, he's a billionaire now because he does invest and sells real estate. But he said he hated sales, and he used the skills he learned on the job he hated to become a mogul, really. So don't remember, keep your focus, know why you're there. It's not going
yes.
to last forever. And in this moment, remember why you are there. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Love it.
Nalini said that's when you start to look fresh and later you get wilted. I think she said that when you talked about how the people change, right? When you started,
Oh,
everything was okay. And then uh,
okay,
meet
okay.
on this toxic boss, and your life just feel like you're in hell, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's a crap show, right? And you're wondering, why am I
Ah,
here? But
yes.
remember, while you're wondering why you are there, keep your focus, because it's not going to last forever.
Yes. Yes, and then another tactic is to set behavioral limits. Okay, you want to make sure you're setting boundaries. You want to make sure also that your verbal and nonverbal communication is correct. Okay, because sometimes, like some of us, I mean, I can tell when I'm upset, people will see it, people will feel my body language, and I had to make sure that I'm not communicating too much non-verbally. So you need to make sure that you're not, for example, you're not irritated around certain people, you're not communicating the wrong thing. So watch your body language and your communication with the boss and with other people.
I want to add to that because I used to wear my stuff on my sleeve. Honestly, you would know. Honestly, I don't know. I learned to be better, okay? Because your body language is more powerful communicator than the words that you say, right? And I read this somewhere that when you must be face to face with your boss, focus on lifting your chest and your chin. Appear confident because what they want you to do is to feel small.
Yes.
The posture gently but firmly communicates that you're open to talk and you're not intimidated, because as long as they feel that they got a hold of you and they want to beat you down and everything, trust me, they win. Right? So you
Yes,
must
that's
also
what
let that
Compini
boss,
said. Yeah,
exactly. You must also let that boss know
yeah,
that you're not going to any longer tolerate this, because you have to face it. As
yeah,
you said, as somebody said in the chat, right? They
yeah,
prefer when people speak with them rather than the emails and the everything behind that. Confront it, right? If your boss argues and start acting out, leave the conversation and escalate it to the person above your boss. Because in the beginning you're not going to escalate, because you're going to try to deal with some of this, right? Because you can't keep running to people and reporting your boss. But when you realize that this thing is not, you can't solve this thing, you might have to let other people know about this. What do you think?
yeah.
Yeah, you got to let them know.
I would say yes and no. Like from my own experience, like I have tried a couple of times, and it didn't work for me.
Oh,
It
that's,
didn't work.
yeah, you're I think you're in the matrix
Can
somewhere.
you hear me?
No, I can hear you now.
Oh,
So I'm just going to read some of the chat until you get
so I
back.
tried.
Let me read some of the chat until you get back. So one Facebook user said, "Be a
Can you
mover
hear
and
me?
shaker." You're coming in and out. So let me read up some of what the people are saying here. I have a gentleman on LinkedIn. So maintain a
Okay.
positive behavior regardless. And the same person said, darkness never withstands light. With a consistent positive behavior, you overcome the
Mm,
toxicity with time. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Because at the end of the
nice.
day,
Yes.
as you were saying, Dr. Loubna, at the end of the day, if you go around being negative, trust me, people tend, you know what I found when I was in corporate?
Yeah.
People tend to forget. You have a problem, but now you're in the spotlight and they're watching how your self-management skills kick in, how you're handling the situation. So the reason why we are here today is to give you these tips. Remember,
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day, some of the same people will turn on you
Yes.
if you don't handle it too well, right?
Yes.
We are
Yeah.
saying
Yeah. Yeah.
hard times not going to last forever, and you gotta get hold of yourself and
Yes.
handle this accordingly.
So the last point we're talking about, like about escalating to management and HR. I mean, I have tried that in the past and it didn't really work for me. So I'm not sure. I would say everyone has to make a decision whether they want to escalate or not. But my personal observations in the past, I mean, I just felt that nobody cared.
Well,
I felt nobody cared, and I don't
let
know.
me tell you a little thing. I'm gonna tell you a little, Dr. Lubna, what I learned about HR. And I only learned that. Did you know when I learned that after I retired?
Hmm.
HR, and there were some discussions on LinkedIn, and I did comment, because when I started reflecting and looking at everything, HR is not even there to protect the workers. It is there to protect management, because I used to wonder, why is HR, why when you have a problem, you can't even take it to HR?
Yeah.
HR is there to protect the management from legal trouble, like in terms of knowing the laws. HR people, internal HR, always know the laws, the labor laws, they know hiring laws, they know everything like that. They are there to protect the company. I used to wonder why HR and management are so chummy. If you have a problem,
Hmm.
you didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
HR is there to protect management. So what can you do? What can the worker do if you can't even go to HR?
Uh, like we said earlier, you deal with the situation and you learn as much as you can until you change the environment,
Yeah.
or you decide to stay there and deal with it. I mean, these are the two options, I guess,
All
right?
right. So two things you can do, guys. If you have the, what I call it now, if you have the stamina and if you have the patience, like I did, I stayed. And one of the reasons why I stayed at my job for so long, 15 years, I'm hearing, oh, it's
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing feedback in your phone. You had the phone on. Yeah. So one of the things that I did actually is that I stayed there, but I was on the religious side. Honest to God, I worked and I prayed. And I'm telling you, because I know nothing will last forever. I gave this same advice to a young lady, and she came out of it because in the end of the day my toxic boss left. I don't know, I think God just moved him out of my, should I say that on YouTube and LinkedIn? I think something just happened, that the environment or God or whoever was watching over my objective and seeing me crying every day and praying and holding on and working the way I should. The gentleman found something happened and they had to move cities. And it's after the gentleman moved then I realized that other people were having the same problems as me. I know a young lady that recently also was having a lot of problems. She focused, she
So
worked, she tried to do her
you know,
best, and the person was moved out of the environment. Let me tell you something, nothing lasts forever and things tend to change. However, I just want to say one last thing. If you don't have the patience, go where you are appreciated. It is time for you to start dusting off your
yes,
resume, optimizing your LinkedIn profile, work with somebody who can help you to get out of this situation. And I would say that. That's what I would say. You can do two things. You can wait and see if the situation can change if you love your job like me and want it to work and want it to up level. Or if your mental capacity is not there for it, I would say it's time to start dusting off that resume, optimizing
yeah,
your resume and your LinkedIn profile to get and start networking with people to get the new job.
yes,
How about
yes.
I think
Hello, can you hear me, Yvonne?
yes, I
Can
can
you
hear
hear me?
you now. Yeah, I tend to be in the
Yes,
matrix a lot, but yes.
yes, yes, yes. And the other thing we talk about mindset. You didn't work on your mindset because when you get strong here, nothing else will work. And it's time to work on the mindset.
Yeah.
And
So
I
I
guess,
think
like we're saying this, look, looking back, I wish I knew some of the things I know today because I cried and felt bad and had my energy drained and impacted my family. I wish I knew so many things, like to be more in control of my mindset and what's happening around me.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, I gave you a lot of tips today. I gave you 7 tips to recognize and 7 things to do if you're in this situation. So, we're at a stage now, unless I see another LinkedIn user comes on and want to say something else. But the LinkedIn user says your mental health comes first. Never sacrifice it. If it is toxic, and it starts to impact your mental health. And you know
Yes.
what? Nowadays, there are so many things that are happening in the environment. Post COVID, COVID was long and hard. Post COVID is also hard because now there's inflation, there are wars and everything. So you got to protect your mental health. If you're
Yes.
in a situation, get some support. We talked about that. Get some help. If it's not internal, try to find somebody you can talk to externally and start working on yourself and ability to move to another job. Don't stay there until things blow up on you and it becomes too bad. But it's just unfortunate. And I hope that what we have done today is bring certain things to light, right? So if there are any bosses or managers or whatever would like to watch this, I think this topic should be more top of mind. More people should start talking about it because you cannot be out there as a company being an advocate for mental health and at the same time the people around you are suffering. So I want to land there. Do you have anything else to add to that, Dr. Loubna?
No, I think we covered everything, and the main thing is that at the end of the day, it's your decision. Okay, don't let anyone influence you or tell you what to do. You get to observe, you get to spot the toxic people, and decide what you want to do about it.
Awesome, awesome. So we're going to look to see if there are no more comments right here and we can just go out. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to go out. And how do they find you, Dr. Loubna? How do career professionals find you?
They can send me a message on LinkedIn. They can email me. Yes, yeah.
And I think I have your website here.
Yes,
And
that's
the
my
website
website.
Dr. Loubna,
Thank you.
advancedconsulting.com. And I have a digital card, meetcoachyvonne.com. You can put that in any browser. It's easier than in my website link. So meetcoachyvonne.com, you go there, you see all my social spaces. You can click on any of them, send me a message, takes you to my website, takes you to YouTube, takes you to LinkedIn. That's the easiest way to find me. meetcoachyvonne.com. That is a very, very easy way to find me. Dr. Loubna and I are here on most Fridays. I'm going to probably not say every Friday because sometimes life gets in.
Yes,
right? And
that's okay.
Sometimes life happens. So we want to go out and talk to you. All right.